There's an issue out there, and I need to get to it before the end of the program. And it's the separating kids from their parents when illegal aliens come into the country. And I keep scratching my head. When did this become an issue? Why is it an issue in the last 3 weeks? Things don't just happen. There's not just coincidences out there. So these left-wing ethnic front groups, they push this agenda. They push it into the same media that the FBI used to go after Trump. They push it into the phony media. It's pushed into Capitol Hill. The Democrats repeat it. Then the Republicans start repeating it. And all of a sudden, we have this issue. Now, the exact same processes were in place under Obama. You never heard a word about it. And what happens is, if somebody is coming into this country illegally, and that somebody is a parent, and they bring a child, the parent has to be detained and processed, and in some cases, depending on the parent, if there's a record and there's a known record, or if this is a repeat performance by the illegal alien, they're separated from their child so their child doesn't go to a detention center. So the child goes to the nearest relative or to a foster home or is some way protected while the parent is dealt with. How is that inhumane? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Say to the parent, all right, fine, you have a child, come on in. What do we do in the case, and I bring this up all the time, when we have American citizen parents and American citizen children, not dreamers, of course, that only applies to illegal alien children at the age of 30. What do we do if a parent or both parents are convicted of crimes? What do we do with the kids? Do we say you can't separate the kid from the parents? You can't separate the kids from the parents? Well, Mark, they've had a trial and everything. Well, let's say they didn't have a trial. Let's say there's been an arraignment and they're dangerous and you keep them in jail and so forth and so. That happens all the time. Do you ever hear news reports about going soft on a criminal parent who's an American citizen because they shouldn't be separated from their children? Have you ever heard of that? I've never heard of a story like that. Now, all of a sudden, when somebody comes in here illegally, an adult, and they know what they're doing, they know it's illegal, and they bring a child, just as an example, and they're separated because the goal of separation isn't to be, a horrid country. The goal of the separation is to protect the child while you're addressing the lawlessness of the parent. What is it that these new politicians, that this new issue with these politicians, what is it that they propose we do? I want you to listen to one of them. His name happens to be Paul Ryan. He's Speaker of the House. Cut 8, Mr. Producer, go.
Are you comfortable with the current zero-tolerance policy leading to parents and children being separated at the border?
No, I'm not. This is because of a court ruling. And so this, I do think, ought to be addressed. We believe it should be addressed in immigration legislation. So what's happening at the border and the separation of parents and their children is because of a court ruling. That's why I think legislation is necessary. Casey.
Mr. Speaker, on that point, this is actually a policy change from the Trump administration for zero tolerance.
There's also a court ruling involved, so this is something that we think should be addressed in legislation.
Let's stop. Of course, it's Trump's fault. What the Trump administration is doing is enforcing existing law. If that's a change in policy from the Obama administration, then so be it. But wouldn't that mean that the Obama administration was lawless? Does anybody care anymore? Nobody cares anymore. Progressivism, socialism, Marxism, that's the name of the game. The Constitution's in the way, screw it. If the rule of law is in the way, screw it. Go ahead.
This is inhumane. Do you agree?
We don't want kids to be separated from their parents. I think I just made that really clear. And we believe because of the court ruling, this will require...
It's not just a court ruling, Mr. Speaker, and you damn well know it. Why don't you tell us exactly how you would address it? And one of the ways you stop this is by securing the border. So these irresponsible foreign parents aren't doing this to their own families and their children. They make it like we're doing it. like Trump's doing it, which, of course, is nonsense. Go ahead.
Change.
That's it. All right.